All right. Afternoon once again, everyone. Following up from that wonderful session we had by Aaron Pollard, I am here to talk to you all about the effective use of PowerPoint. Um, okay, so let's get into it. And the objectives of this session, we just take a look at the objectives of the session. We want to explore some general tips or reminders to improve our general PowerPoint usage. We want to use or take a look at the collaborative or online PowerPoint presentations to enhance engagement in our classroom. Let's see what PowerPoint Online has to offer. And then we want to, as an activity, look at the master slide of the PowerPoint and see what we can do in terms of using the master slide feature in the PowerPoint desktop application to be able to create a basic picture slide template or a designed picture slide template. Just pretty much the same thing, but one has a slightly higher level of skill required than the other to create. Okay. Um, right. So just some notes before we start. You can keep your cameras off. Please try to keep your mics muted until you have something to say to minimize sound coming in. We want to, I want to encourage people to contribute via the chat window. When we share the documents, when I send links for shared documents online, which we will be using, please, I'm asking you all not to mess with the formatting of the shared documents. Okay, because remember, it's a shared document. Everybody's document will be affected if you change something on it. If you need something clarified, you could stop and ask a question right away. And I would encourage, especially for the master PowerPoint slide section, that we follow along with the PowerPoint application on your computer. Right? I must admit, right, I was very pleased actually that Paula did what he did earlier today, because part of what I'm doing here, I'm going to talk about certain things with respect to PowerPoint, but I didn't take too much a hands-on approach with what I thought was certain basic things, and I think Pollard addressed some of those things. So I'll be looking at a different set of information, different set of features that PowerPoint would offer us. But for the first part, as I said, we'll be discussing design features. Okay, so I want for us to, on this next slide, as a little icebreaker, we can take a couple minutes and observe this slide. And I would like for you to tell me everything that you think is wrong with this slide. What is wrong with this slide? You can use the chat inside of the Microsoft Teams to give me your impressions on this slide. Right.
It feels difficult to read because the graphics interfering with the words.
Right. Okay, so from the many messages that I have coming in here, I'll just read out a couple of them. The highlighting is obscuring the words. Mr. Boodoo said the same thing, that the colors are contrasting. The grammar is off. Right. So it's a very busy slide. Um, so we we have a lot going on here. We have a lot going on with this slide. So I'm just going to go through what are the major issues. The title is too long, and it does have bad grammar. Okay, mismatch size and text. The text is too small in some areas. the text is too wordy, right? The moving little the little dancing robot, sorry, not the dancing robot, but the Garfield actually makes some of the text illegible. Some of the legible text, parts of it is now become illegible because of the Garfield, right? We don't have any consistent color scheme on this slide, and our dancing robot and our this guy up here is just not relevant to the presentation. So I think everybody can agree that these slides have problems. Yes, right. So I agree with Althea. That is death by PowerPoint. If we had to describe it, that is pretty much it, right? This is one of the worst slides that you could ever see. But sometimes, you know, we make mistakes, or you know, I'm not saying that anybody here does all of this at once, but we make mistakes, and we see that you know, we might change something in the design, and you know, it renders our PowerPoint not as effective as we want it to be. So this is not the color scheme of my PowerPoint and going forward, thankfully. So I want to get into some tips for effective slides now. So some tips for effective slides. I wanted to identify that, you know, I had links in these slides. So as I click talk and, you know, identify my tips, right? Keep your slides short and to the point. And I think that this year I've tried to make the design of my presentation according to the same tips that I'll be given, right? I don't want to be a hypocrite. So, and I have the source for these tips down to the bottom here. So when I send you this presentation, when I send you this presentation, you can go and check out the site, right? And I've linked a lot of sites in terms of PowerPoint tips and tricks inside of this presentation that you guys should be able to access. Right. So we want to keep our slides short and to the point. And essentially, what our text is saying here is do not put too much text on your slide. So we have a picture here on the left. We have what to do. We have what not to do on the right hand side. Okay, and you know, sometimes as well as displaying text alone, we can always have a picture to emphasize, to give, you know, some good feeling to our text. So, and then the next point is that we want to keep fonts consistent, well-sized, and easy to read. I know that people nowadays have, they're watching their teachers, they're watching people make presentations on all sorts of different devices. Some people have computers hooked up to big screen TVs. Other people have only their phones. And this could be something tricky, because if it is that you decide to make your presentation with, let's say, a big screen TV in mind, then it puts those persons using mobile devices at a bit of a disadvantage. So we want to be mindful of the font as well. And what we see is that, you know, again, on the left-hand side, we might have fonts that at smaller sizes, because of the fact that they're very fancy, they become difficult to read at smaller sizes. On the right-hand side, you know, as a standard, we always have the Calibrio Vidana, and those are also recommended because those are like default fonts on almost every device that you would find. When you use specialized fonts, if the presentation does not store those fonts, so if the target computer doesn't have those fonts, then the target computer might want to use a substitute font. And what is going to happen is that your font, your whole presentation could get thrown off. So just from the go, it would be wise to, just keep your fonts. All right. Times New Roman is one of those fonts as well, Marlene, that it ships with pretty much every device. So those are safe fonts, right? Don't go with any new font. So especially if you're not exporting your PDF your PowerPoint as a PDF file, which would save the fonts, but you're sending it as the PowerPoint document to your students, then your fonts are not unlikely. If you download a special font and say, oh, this font is nice and cute, your audience, your target person computer, they mightn't have the font. So next up, we want to be careful with the use of slide transitions. Most times we want to just fade into the slide, and if you notice, as I jump back and forward, like when I jump into the slide, I fade into the slide. When I go back, I just straight up jump into this slide. And I had this slide specifically with no effect on it to get that. So a jump from one slide to the other could feel kind of jarring, but a fade as a nice little transition, right? And while we're here talking about fade, I just wanted to say, drive the point home again with the right font size. We don't want any text that is too large, and we have to cater. We're catering for people with ordinary eyesight. So the quality and consistency of your images make a huge impact too. What images do we use? And in terms of being able to use images and be consistent, let me go to the example slide. The right image can convey the same idea, but it could also change the feel of your presentation. Anybody wants to tell me what's the difference between the car on the left and the car on the right? Anyone quickly? What if you see those two?
The one on the left has a soundtrack from a comic book.
Yes. Right. If a cartoon comes to you and if somebody else's.
Yeah, I was saying the one on the left I could afford, and the one on the right I can't.
Ah, right. Yes. I hope somebody from BATC who could hear these lamentations from staff will push us closer towards the car on the right. Okay, but yeah, the car on the left feels cheap. Not to say that Risa could only afford cheap vehicles, but the car on the left feels cheap.
Mr. VALDEZ, I'm wondering if it's not dependent on the audience that you are now dealing with in terms of what image you are going to portray.
It does, absolutely. So on the left, this is appropriate for use with let's say for instance here, if it is that we have to do a casual experience in class, somebody talking about maybe a story, a literature story, and they want something happen in the car. This is fine for that, right? But if it is that I'm saying, okay, I'm considering buying a car, then you might want to go with what's on the right. So it's all situational. That is very correct, Mr. Williams. Right. So we have we move on to the next set of tips, and it's just 8 tips, 8 short tips. Right? We want to go, especially in terms of when we have to talk about data, in terms of visualizing data. Again, which data set will you remember here? So we want to go the extra step in terms of visualizing data for persons. if I include images and striking charts or graphs in terms of showing my data, rather than just throwing some stats on a screen, then it's something that can appeal to the senses of our students at times, right? We will remember something that has color, that has value. Look at what's on the right. What's on the right? Everybody knows the symbol for Android, and everybody knows the symbol for Apple. We didn't even have to say the words Android and Apple here. Whereas, and then the concept of the pie charts here, right? Well, represented as a ring. They allow you to actually visualize. Some people, when you tell some people 59%, they don't really see it in their mind as, maybe if you're more maths oriented, you will convert saying 59% into a picture in your head. By default, as a maths person, you might, be able to say, yes, I'm seeing that by just somebody telling you 59%. But if it is that you show the person 59%, right off the bat, they get a sense, oh, more people use Android here. And then we have the same thing for tables, right? Simple but easy to read. I know that this was, and the one on the and it's probably show my age in terms of when I learned PowerPoint, but the one on the left hand side to me was a very acceptable way of showing table data. The one on the right hand side looks sleeker. But when I learned PowerPoint, it was have a different color for your header, and the alternating rows would make it easier to read, etc. But in terms of again designing our data when we're showing it to students, or when we're asking it of students in terms of presentation, what's on the right is just as readable. Actually, in some instances, you get less of a clash with the colors, and it actually looks a little more modern to see. So if we have to use table data, we can again keep it simple. Last two, be mindful of the contrast of our colors. So when Rennie typed something there that I learned from my web design teacher, the KISS principle, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. All right. Once you keep things simple, especially when it comes to design. No, yes, the one on the left is fine too, but the one on the right, it feels a little more modern. But when you keep it simple philosophy, right? We always convey without noise. And of course, in terms of avoiding contrast in terms of images, we can always ensure that I'm not selling some people, Suni and Daniel, I'm not selling them on the table. Right? It's fine if you could find a way to work the other one in and keep your color scheme very, very keep your color scheme consistent. It's going to help in terms of integrating that table in. If it is that you have a plain white, it might be better to just simply, display the table within the bounds of the color scheme. And all right. So, and as I said, we have a colored shape behind text can improve readability a whole lot. This is something that I think a lot of us sometimes forget to do when we want to make striking pictures or use background images, etc. Just insert a shape and lay it behind your text, and then the last one that we want to do is be mindful of your color scheme. Okay, so sometimes again, and I am not very good at integrating different colors, but when you use different colors in your presentation, it comes off as, you know, amateurish and childish. If that is your target audience, that's fine. But if not, you could still use colors in such a way that you can have like a unified color scheme, and a site like hulos.co will help you achieve that. And I'm going to bring up the site and show you all what the site allows you to do. It's loading on my it's loading on my computer, sorry. So just give me 1 second when I pull it up. So this is the site. It's a color scheme generator. And what it allows you to do is that it allows you to see different color schemes, all right, based upon specific colors. And well, it kind of gave it I'm just using the random feature in it, all right, in terms of generating particular colors. But once you have colors inside of here, now I can put the website in the chat as well. And you could test it out. What it allows you to do is, even in terms of the colors that it gives you, you could then go on and view different shades related to these colors. Sorry, I don't want to save, I just want to manipulate the shades. So even when I move away from the original colors given, but once I find something within a particular color scheme, I am going to be able to use it. And these numbers underneath here are actually able to, you're actually able to place them, right? They're RGB format, I believe, but you're able to place them into your color picker in if it is that you're using PowerPoint, and it will reproduce the color, okay, in terms of getting to your font. So those are just some tips, and I'll come back to these, but I want to move on before I come back to these, before I go back into the app. All right, I want to move on, and I will come back to this first section here where I had a couple of things being done in terms of tips. Those were just general tips. Right. Right. So the next thing that I wanted to identify, right, moving away, and as I said, we're going to come back to the actual application on the computer of PowerPoint, but what I want to talk about is using collaborative documents and presentations, PowerPoint documents and presentations. And we have, sorry, my presentation is misbehaving here. Okay, right. So what does collaborative presentations and collaborative documents allow us to achieve? It allows us to achieve a sense of mobility, because when we use the application on the computer, we basically bound to this computer system. Yes, you could email that that presentation to somebody, and you know, everybody watches it, and people can modify it as, you know, wherever they are, right? But it's still dependent on a file. If it is that we have collaborative spreadsheets, people could access collaborative presentations and documents. Person could access it from anywhere. They're also very flexible. You could choose whether or not you want to allow people to take a copy. So in the same way that you would have emailed something, a presentation that you would have given to your target audience, you would then be able to, with a collaborative document or presentation, you would be able to allow them to access it anywhere. You could give them the permission to download it or not download it if depending on what you want. You could allow them to modify it, or you could just allow them to modify a copy that they can take if you give them the permission to take a copy. We have productivity. It increases productivity because, again, in terms of collaboration, we are encouraging persons to take this document, everybody go into the document and do their own thing, contribute in their own way. And this is something that I've actually used in my classroom. I love to use this for module 3 of computer science, where there's a lot of theory that needs to develop. So what I would do is I would give a collaborative spreadsheet, and I would put the main topic ideas inside of there. And then I would break the students into small groups, probably about 3 to 4 persons, and share that one document link with them. And every group is responsible for creating about 3 to 4 slides of content related to the general heading. And of course, subheadings that I would have given them. And, now what happens is that you have a document where everybody contributes to, and everybody could always come back to. And even if one person sees something that needs changing in another person's section, they could, always send a note or put a note on the document to make the change, and that change is for everybody who uses the document. The thing is, of course, what I've been seeing all along, sharing, right? Because you are allowed to save some time, as documents in all formats are available to those who have access to it. And what I would like to do now is I would like for us to do a little collaborative spreadsheet exercise. Okay, so I want to share a link in the chat with you all, and maybe I can walk you through where this is on my computer too. Not on my computer, sorry, but on the web. So in terms of being able to create these collaborators, I want to go to office.com. And once we go to office.com, my computer is sticking. Hold a second, please. My internet seems to be giving a bit of trouble. Okay, so here we are. We are at office.com, and we have basically, you all should see something similar to this if you are with me on office.com. So you could actually open up at this point your browser and go to office.com. And as long as you are logged in with your BATCE account, you should be able to see all of the documents that have been shared with you at one point or the other from office.com. At Office 365, this is the Office 365 that, of course, the school has access to. As well, you could create Word documents, PowerPoints online. So, and just click on the icon to the side here to be able to get that. And this is the document that I have. And what I actually, I haven't shared it with you all yet. All right, so only when I share the link with you all would you get it. So I created this document earlier, and I created it earlier actually thinking to myself, most people know about PowerPoint. Most people, I didn't want to come here and go through, well, this is this part of the PowerPoint document, this is, or the PowerPoint application, this is another part of the PowerPoint application. But what I would do is I'm going to give you guys a little test right now. right? I'm just going to test you very quickly. So the instructions for the test, once I put the link inside here, this is a PowerPoint that I created earlier, and this is the test. This is a PowerPoint that I created earlier, and this is the test. Yes, not a bad test, like a fun test. You know, the test that everybody makes friends and hold hands afterwards because it's all collaborative. But I want us to do something with this collaboration, and this is something that I would also do in class. This is like annotation, right? This is annotation. And what we have here is we have the PowerPoint interface, and you notice that I have a text box that if you double click on, you can write in, right? That's not the answer there. I'm just writing inside of there. And that text box corresponds to a box of a certain color. So every box of a certain color has a corresponding text. And what I would like for us to do is I would like for us to, and this is where we need to pay attention with it. When you come here, you're clicking on the first slide and you're pressing duplicate slide. And you will be transported to that duplicate slide. That duplicate slide is now going to be your slide. I didn't have to click to get on the slide. Right? So let me do it again. When I share this link and you open the link, and I would see you guys in it, and this is where you as a teacher, again, with the PowerPoint online, get a little bit of power, because you can see your students working and you can see who is on what slide. I have set my sharing settings to only persons in BATC would be able to access this document with a batc.edu.tt address, and I will show you how, and I will do that when I press share to get the link. When I click here, I'm going to click on duplicate slide, and now I'm going to be on the duplicate side. On this slide that I duplicated, I'm going to type my name in the top right corner, and I'm going to put in my answers for in the text boxes that are on this slide. And I am now going to be able to see everybody's answers once I give you the link to this. So I'm deleting that original slide. Remember the first thing, do not write on my slide number 1. If I see anybody put their name inside of here, I'm going to call you out as a bad student, as a naughty student or something. So, all right.
YOHANCE, where you have to duplicate?
I'm going to share the link right now. So the link is about to be shared in the chat. And if you are doing this, you click on share.
YOHANCE, excuse me.
Yeah.
Where do you have to click for duplicate? Could you
when
do that
you
again?
right click, you right click on this in this slide view section here. In this
You're
in
right.
this in the slide pane on the left hand side, you right click on it, and then you get slide.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Right? So I'm going to share the link for you guys to be able to access that. Keith is late. So I'm gonna march in. People are gonna be surprised because they'll be in the living room while I'll bust in and it's just bell cheering. Let me warn people. I will be very easy on anybody who's not an IT teacher that follow the rules. But if any IT teacher is breaking the rules,
shucks. Better I'll take my leave now.
My voice just heavy. I actually am, all I have is the back. Okay, so I'm going to share this document by clicking on share. I'm going to share this collaborative document by clicking on share, and my share menu comes up. And I have some settings for the link that I'm going to share. I could choose to share this with anyone with this link. This means that people inside and outside of BATC can access this document. If I choose to share it with people in Bishop Ansi, Trinity College East with the link, it means that you will be required to log in with your school email and password to see this document. if it is that I click on people with existing access, that is where I could specify either external persons with like an Outlook account or specify people in the organization, right? And it's the same thing here. This is where I specify people. And I'm going to click on people in Bishop Ansi, Trinity College East with the link. And I'm going to allow you to edit. This is important for your students. Allow editing. Otherwise, you will be able to, they won't be able to make changes to the document. And of course, if you didn't allow editing, you could prevent them from even downloading the resource. So this is something, if you create your notes in PowerPoint and you want to keep it only for students in Bishop Ansi Trinity College East. So like if you did like Mr. Pollard this morning, and you created a PowerPoint, but you don't really want it spread too far and wide, right? Maybe, different people have different feelings about their property. Some people would put it on YouTube. Other people just want it to stay for their students. This is an option that might allow you to keep it for your students alone. You'll upload it to PowerPoint online, and you say only students of BATCE could access it, and you could block download. So they won't be able to save a copy of it off of the web. Right? I like sharing, and I like people to edit. So, everything I create is I don't mind if people borrow it. All you have to do is make it better. So once you fix those settings, you can click on apply, and you don't have to add any specific name. But once I copy this link for you here, this is the link that I'm going to paste in the chat right now. And hopefully, I will see some of you after you click on that link, I would see some of you all appearing in this document. Yes, so I'm seeing some of you all are up here, right? So these are people who are on the document here, and people are starting to create their duplicate slides, right? All you have to do is make sure that you are on a slide by yourself. Maybe as people are creating soon, it's forbidden. Are you today? Are you logged in with a Outlook.com address that is outside of the organization zone in your browser?
Valdez.
Yeah.
It said when I opened it, read only. So what
read
do
only?
I have to, yeah, it said when I got a read only pop up, it didn't allow me to duplicate it.
Close it off and try it again.
Close it and try it again? Okay, cool. No problem.
Yeah, because there are persons here that are creating the slides and making the slides.
Okay, that's all. Let me just see something. I'm gonna just and see something. You don't have permission to rename this file, but I'm trying to do the duplicate thing that you said. I'll try it again. I'll try it again. Okay, no, now it's not lighting up. So I'll do it over again then.
Oh, okay.
Hi Valdez, this is Miss Jody. How are you going? When I duplicated,
I am good. How are you?
started typing, and people started duplicating, so I don't even know where my slide is. So that's I'll wait.
Yes, I would admit to you that this works best with maybe a maximum of 20 to 30 people. We have well over that trying to create slides. So far, it's about 40 slides created.
That's a whole lot. I think that's no.
Shasha, don't feel bad. I put my name and then I was fast and went and click on other people's slide and now I can't find mine either.
Sure.
I don't want to tell you alone.
I look at something with a T, but oh my word, it's gone.
I'm going to give you guys a little hint, saying that I didn't really tell you all the names of the areas, and to prevent you all from curiously.
I know the names of my areas. I just need my slide to put them. At least I think I remember my names of my areas.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
Well,
look
You could always
did.
create another slide.
Oh, afraid somebody boots mouth again? Let me try. All right, duplicate. Oops. All right, CNTG. I hope I will never is me. As all. All right. Maybe it might be me. Let me type.
Asking a question. Am I typing into the part that have the numbers?
Yes, you double click on them and it will allow you to type.
And I'm creating a slide for you.
Oh, no.
What am I doing when I answer the numbers? Because I was thinking that we were creating a slide. So
you have to say what the part that is you have to say what the part that is in the box. So I was going to give you guys a little hint as to what the parts were, but
the parts.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Huh?
Yes,
Okay.
parts of the PowerPoint with.
So the parts of the well, I lost.
No, please do, because I have a nice file here, but I don't know what to do next.
All
You
right.
have a what?
No, I have the file. I've typed my name, so I'm looking at mine, but I don't know what you want me to do next.
What slide are you on, Elsa?
Slide 1.
Do you know what slide you're on?
This is
1.
What now?
Yes, I'm
name on
seeing
it.
a whole lot of people on slide 1.
Okay, well, my name is on mine. I typed it in. So I am now looking at the area that says 1. And then there's 2, 3, 4, and 5, but I don't know what you want me to do in each of those areas.
You have to identify. So somebody has changed, I believe, on the original document.
Somebody what?
I say somebody has gone and changed some colors, I believe, on my document.
Artists now.
No, it's not me.
Yes.
I ain't do nothing.
I think I done there. All right, that's it.
Not me either.
What do you do next?
What slide is this anyway, though? Hold on. Oh my
Just
God.
stay with it.
And I believe that so many people are accessing right now, my internet is not able to keep up. So my window is frozen.
Hold on. Wee.
Okay, I don't know.
I hope I'm right. You share if I'm wrong.
So I do believe, however, someone edited the first slide, and as a result, I am.
No. Okay. Should put my mute so people have feedbacks.
Valdez, was it me? Because I was looking for my slide. Was it me? Because I could not find my slide. I know I duplicated it. Was it me?
I would have to look in history and see who it was, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to go into that.
But then when you duplicate it, is it your slide not highlighted? If it's only even if you're seeing other people?
Because it's supposed to, it's supposed to put you on the slide that you created.
Too many. Oh.
You can edit other people's slides.
Oh,
because
well,
it's
I presume that the one I was in is the one that I. Well, boy, this is a high level.
So everybody's supposed to have their own slide. But I do apologize, but my internet is moving quite slowly. Sometimes when I am streaming, for some reason my internet can't handle streaming and loading pages at the same time.
I think
it happens ever so.
Do you share it back to you, Valdez, when you're finished? Do you share it back to you, or does it?
No. Once you make a change, the document is saved for everybody.
Okay, right. Thanks. Thank you.
Right, so it's automatically saved online with the shared documents. And so for the most part, I see people have, right? For the most part, I see people have made changes to the document. I see that Vicky has, okay, and then I see my name go back to my own name on slide 1. And unfortunately, yes.
Quick question. This
Mhm.
works in any document besides PowerPoint? It works in Word documents as well?
It works with documents as well, yes.
But I could ask another question. So everybody could edit any other person's info.
Yeah, it depends on the permissions that you give when you share the file.
Right. But if you, okay, say you share this, say you share like how you do here, but you are not allowing anybody to edit unless it's their copy. That could be done? That could be done?
Yeah, so you could save a copy.
Right.
Right. So you could like download a copy, or you could even duplicate. Because this is my own document, I don't think I'm getting the option to do it in the file menu. But you could duplicate or save as. Look at here, yeah. Save as, save a copy online. So let's say, for instance, I do this and I say, boy, I've fed up with these teachers editing this document in such a way that it wrecked it from our original intention. Right? It wrecked it from my original intention. I could save a copy of it for myself. So I can now save it as copy 2. And that copy 2 is now not going to be shared with anybody.
Oh, very good. Okay. Because I was looking at how you could, yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I was looking at two things. One, the immediate time that you can actually see people coming on and working.
Yeah.
You could.
You could. And as I said, I apologize because my internet, it really and truly is not keeping up with the amount of people on this document. But I want to, let me see if I can pull up the other copy that I just saved and that not many people are accessing. And because even when I do this with my students, look at here.
Yeah, that's refreshed. Yes, it has refreshed. Yes.
Right. Yeah, it just refreshed. So this one, nobody but me is accessing this one. Right. And what you could do actually, what I wanted to do just now was actually, as people created their slides and changed it, you could go into view and go into slide sorter, and you could have seen you would have seen the changes, essentially everybody's slide.
Correct.
So, this would have been the third person. So if you imagine this being your students' notes, like you give the same exercise to about 20 students, and I guarantee that 20 students will not cause the same behaviors like the 50 or 60 of you who have just come onto this document at once.
Right.
What's going to happen is that you can go into this view and you could start, you could see each student making their notes at the same time.
Right. That's what I thought.
Right. So
this was excellent. Yeah.
Right. So you see it updating in real, but the thing is that so many people are updating with this one that I did that it became a little it wasn't feasible to do that.
Yeah, and this is like 100 and something people on right now, so understandable.
Yes.
This is a lot, but it's working beautifully.
Yes, it's true.
109 people on. Very good.
Another way, I mean,
yeah, Trish,
I do what you're saying here. So like sometimes, when we say with this remote teaching, we can't see the students' books. We can use this and give everybody their slides, like you said, and you get to see their work.
Yes.
And because that's what I do in class. When I want to see their writing, I use PowerPoint. Everybody has a slide assigned, so I've got a template and everybody's name is on it. So when I just copy that, they've got it and they do the activity, so I can see in real time. And just like you said, it promotes the collaboration. Sometimes they might write in groups. Sometimes they have to write individually, but it's a good way for us to check that right there on the slide.
Trisha, quick question. I was wondering to ask Trisha, sorry, Valdez. Sorry,
go ahead.
Have you ever done it in a Word document format, Trisha? As you were
you can do it in Word, but it's just that you will have to be scrolling through page to page to page. That's all. Whereas this, as YOHANCE said, you can go into the slide sort of view. You could put 3 slides on your screen at once, 4 slides, or depending on how good your eyes are, I suppose. And you can see it that way, but you can do the same thing in Word. It just depends on like your preference, the exercise, and the student's preference, and that kind of thing.
Oh, this is excellent. Thank you so much, Trisha, for sharing, and thanks, Valdez.
No problem. Yeah, so it's an easy way, and actually what maybe because of the large numbers, and I thought to do it initially, but then I went the route of duplicating, was that I would have I was actually thinking initially to make about 40 duplicates and assign people numbers, so that the problem that we got with the duplicates did not happen. People could have just gone directly to the slide that was, to them, but it takes a little bit of thinking through, especially with regards to the size of your audience. And as I said, with the way that I used it for my module 3, the way that I used it for my module 3 notes is that I had created sections, and then I asked students to go to that particular section. So, okay. All right. So this is one aspect of the online collaborative spreadsheet that we had. And I actually wanted to now go back, and I see that we only have about 10 minutes, but I wanted to go back to the actual desktop application to show you all something else in terms of creating some slides. And this is a slide this was a slide design tip that I wanted to share with you all. So I wanted to take a look at the slide master view in PowerPoint. And what the slide master does, and this is the PowerPoint desktop application. So those of you who are online, the slide master view is not available on the online application. You have to have the desktop application for it. Okay? You have to have the desktop application for it. And what it allows you to do is that it allows you to be able to change or create or modify backgrounds for all your slides at the same time. So you could change things for all of the slides at the same time. If it is that you want to say, for instance, to put in a watermark or to put in a background that would apply to all of your slides, you can do that. You could rearrange the placeholders that are on your slides. And these are the placeholders here. Let me see if I can get my laser pointer. All right. Give me a second and let me start up my laser pointer.
YOHANCE, excuse, before you go any further, Mr. Latouche has a question. I'm not your sidekick, but does this system work with AutoCAD for real-time evaluation? I guess using maybe he's talking about.
Using the online PowerPoint.
I'm guessing. I'm just reading from the chat. I know sometimes if you're sharing, you might miss.
I might have to get a little more. Okay.
He said yes. He said yes.
Okay, I might not recommend it. I might have to speak to you and find out exactly what you want. If it is that you want to be able to get them to do something in AutoCAD and then like paste the screenshot for it, I'm not quite sure what the question requires. So that might be something I might have to get a little further information on. Mr. Latouche?
I think he can't, I don't know if he has his mic working, but he put it in the chat, Valdez.
Yes, Mr. Valdez.
Oh, is
what
there?
I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is this. If I insert a link to an AutoCAD program within the PowerPoint presentation and share that link to all my students, and they go into the AutoCAD program, would the AutoCAD program be, how I could say, merged smoothly with this PowerPoint presentation so that I could see online at the same time for real-time evaluation of what they are doing with the AutoCAD program in a shared document.
Oh,
All
I'm
right, I'll
getting
stop there for now. You'll think about it.
that, yeah, I no, but I'm getting the impression that I don't think that that would be I don't think that that will be possible, because what I'm thinking that you're asking about is wanting to view each student's progress as they move through their what they're developing in AutoCAD.
Yes, Mr. Valdez, I'm
No,
looking at it from the point of view that you have just shown us how we could share our PowerPoint presentation, and they could work within that PowerPoint presentation, and we could see what they are doing in a real-time basis. Now you can insert links to certain programs in your PowerPoint presentation, and could you have those students use those links now, be it to an AutoCAD program or something of the sort, online, and you are asking them now to draw certain things as individuals in that AutoCAD program so that you could evaluate them and be certain to some extent, not be certain, but assume that they are the ones controlling the input devices in the AutoCAD program, and as such have some form of evaluation in that context.
I think that that might be outside of the scope of what of what is being done here. I know that PowerPoint does support object linking and embedding. I don't know if it will show actively, but yeah, I don't think that the most you get is that you could get a collection of links to what they created in AutoCAD. But I don't think that you'll be able to see it actively as they create it. Yeah. And Miss Rennie here is confirming that they're not integrated, so it's unlikely to work. Thanks, Rennie. All right. Yeah, so it would be just the link. Yeah. I think I understand now what you want, like a viewer, but it's not going to work as a viewer. All right, so we want to just, as we close off, just afford me 5 more minutes to just highlight the slide master view. And just like Mr. Pollard from earlier, when we're doing things in PowerPoint, there's a lot that could be done in PowerPoint, but it's going to take a lot of time to go through a lot of the useful features of PowerPoint, right? The slide master view allows us to be able to rearrange placeholders. So as I was saying, in PowerPoint, this here is your placeholders for your text or your pictures, etc. And what happens when we are inside of PowerPoint is that once we want a quick layout of something, we can change the layout here. But our layouts are quite limited in terms of what we have available. And sometimes we want to be able to, in most instances it works, but sometimes if you have to make something custom, you typically have to use a blank slide and then insert the components that you want for your slides. Your slide master, especially if you have to create multiple slides that have the same format, your slide master allows you to be able to create those slides according to the design layout that you want. So for us to be able to access the slide master, we go to the view tab and we go to the slide master. And what this is that this gives us a layout of all the possible layouts that are offered in the layout menu. And if you want something that changes say for instance, throughout your entire PowerPoint presentation, if you wanted to do something like change the background of your slides, or you wanted to, you know, have all slides with a gradient, so that you don't have to go through slide by slide to give it a gradient, you can do that. So that when you close your master view, every slide that you create will now come up with a gradient automatically. So once I create a new slide and I select layout, you notice that layout has now changed. Layout has now changed. Give me a second, my computer is misbehaving. You treat your computer so well and then they embarrass you when you're doing a presentation. Right? You notice that every slide here has now changed to the gradient that I have put on my master slide. Okay, so if I go back into my slide master and I change my gradient back to just plain white and I click on apply to all of my slides now are able to have a white background. Now I could do a custom layout for myself as well, and this is the last thing that I'm going to do as we're coming to the end, right? So we want to make a template for our own slide, and we enter the master slide, and again I said to enter the master slide, you click on view, and then you click on slide master, and this is the layout menu. This is the general menu that controls the layout for all of the slides, right? And you want to create a new layout, so you want to click on insert layout. And say for instance, there is no 3-picture layout. There is no 3-picture layout here. So say for instance, you want to insert, right? You want to be able to insert a section, right? New slide layout, view tab, insert layout, and we want to be able to, give me a second here, please, because I have a menu here that is not coming up. All right. Sorry. Give me a second. I need to restart my application. Excuse 1 second. Right, sorry, we're back. Right, so we were on view, slide master, and we wanted to create a new layout inside of the slide master. What was happening to me, I don't know if you all were seeing it. I wasn't seeing my application window moving at all. So insert new layout, and say for instance, we want to have this layout that allows us to have 3 pictures in a slide. No, that's not a layout that comes by default with Microsoft Office, right? So inside of my master title slide, I could say insert placeholder. And inside of my placeholder, I want to insert 3 picture placeholders, right? So insert 3 picture placeholders. Actually, I could just click on this and copy and paste it so that they are the same size. All right, copy and paste it. Size. And what we want to do now, right, Mr. Latouche, the question is no. If that program is not supported by Microsoft Word in terms of being able to embed an object inside there, then you can't do that. Okay, so we wanted to take these 3 picture placeholders, and in terms of formatting the shape, we could distribute them horizontally so that there's equal space between them. And now once you close that master view, actually before we close that master view, I'm going back into slide master, right? I could right click on the slide that I just created, right click on this slide here that I just created and say rename layout. So I'm naming it 3 picture slide. So it's now a 3 picture slide, and I click on rename. So what I've done is I've created a slide format that fits my needs rather than to have to always go into another layout and add components as necessary. I've created a layout that automatically, if I click on layout, my 3 picture slide layout is now here. Right? So once I want to add content to here, I could say flowers, and it gives me this 3 picture slide automatically that I can add pictures to. Right? So I don't have a 3rd flower picture, so I'll just put a PowerPoint background. And the last thing that I wanted to show, right, was that we could actually get very creative with it. Again, we want to go into our slide master. So view slide master again, and I want to create something a little more advanced in terms of making pretty pictures. And so I'm going to click on again insert layout. So I have a new layout here, and say for instance I want my pictures to be of a specific shape. I can go into my insert placeholder and again click on my picture tab to create my picture. Go into my picture tab to create my picture, and then I go into my insert menu and say insert a shape. And the shape that I want to insert is a hexagon. And this is actually only available on Office 2013 and above. So say for instance I want to create a hexagon picture to make some pretty designs. I put that shape above the same picture element that I created just now, and I select the picture and the shape together. I select the picture and the shape together, and I go up under the shape format menu and I say merge shapes, and I say intersect. I'm going to do that over, right? I'm going to do that over. So when I insert my placeholder, I'm inserting a picture placeholder here, and then I go and I insert a shape here, and my shape is a hexagon. Sorry, that's a pentagon. I wanted to insert a hexagon. Shape, hexagon. And so I have these 2 things here, and I select the 2 of these together, sorry, I have to select them by pressing on the picture and then press shift and select the hexagon. And when I go into shape format, so I clicked on picture, I press shift and I hold shift and I click on the hexagon. I press merge shapes and I say intersect. And now I have a picture that will come out like a hexagon. And what can I do with this is that if I decide to copy the shape, so I can say copy and paste and paste and paste. What this will allow me to do is it will now allow me to have a nice little design that I can create here for myself. Let's just put two more. I'm putting them together so that they all look nice. And when I close my view, I get that option as a layout, right? I didn't name it, so it's custom layout. I didn't name it, so it's custom layout inside of my layouts here, underneath my layout menu. So if I choose this custom layout, I can now add some pictures, and the pictures will come out in the hexagon. So now you can create some very beautifully designed PowerPoint menus, PowerPoint pictures and backgrounds, etc., by exploiting how you have your master slide. So I can add my pictures. I can add my pictures inside here, and now I have a nice hexagon menu. And so this is kind of like how you can come up with, you know, some certain designs on your own, etc. Right? I just thought that that was very cool. I also wanted to show you all how to link between slides, like how to jump between slides, etc. But time is up on me, so maybe I might just create a video and do that. Okay. So as you put as many as you feel like. I already feel like I have too much right here, but I did it just for the impact, and of course the different pictures will allow me to be able to, if I had more pictures, I could put in as much as I need. But this is something that, you know, in terms of probably even creating a slide for your own, like to create your header slides for your own PowerPoint presentations, etc. You could now, or even in terms of being able to highlight students in your class, right? I have my YouTube channel, but there's only ComSci tutorial videos on it right now, right? You can do this, and you can put it in. You can, you know, format it as a header slide of your own. So that's it for me today with you guys in PowerPoint and what we can do in terms of PowerPoint. I know that it was a little advanced and my computer gave me a little trouble at times, but I hope that you guys picked up something from what we did today, right? In terms of design tips, in terms of using online collaborative tools, PowerPoint as an online collaborative tool, and also in terms of being able to format your own slides. Thank you for giving me the 15 minutes extra, and I am finished here.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. VALDEZ. Another very good presentation with loads of information. So thank you again to all, and just reminding you all to please remember to do the survey and give us feedback. And thank again Mr. VALDEZ again for volunteering to do this session. I know that it was beneficial to all. So again, wishing everyone a wonderful afternoon and a productive week.
Ali, is it possible we could close in prayer? We didn't do it yesterday, and I really
yes. Yes, sure.
I can do the St. Francis of Assisi prayer.
Sure, go ahead.
That. So if we could all please just bow our heads, close our eyes as we say together the prayer of St. Francis. Praise be to you, Almighty God, creator of the universe and all that is in it. We thank you, O Father, for the opportunity which you have given us to increase our knowledge. May your divine grace enable us to study hard and use what we learn for the good of our fellow citizens. We pray that you will free us from selfishness, lust, greed, anger, and hatred. Warm our hearts with love, fill our minds with understanding, and strengthen our wills in the face of all difficulties. Help us, O Father, to make our beloved country of Trinidad and Tobago the kind of place you want it to be. A place where human dignity is respected, where equal rights are accorded to all citizens, where hard work is encouraged and rewarded, and where you, O God, reign supreme. Amen. Have a wonderful afternoon, everybody. Thanks, Mrs. James.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, take care.
Bye.